Vertebrates and Invertebrates, written by Ligia Rivas. Obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to group organisms using scientific classification procedures. Develop a model that illustrates how animals are sorted into groups, vertebrate and invertebrate, and how vertebrates are sorted into groups, fish, amphibian, reptile, bird, and mammal, using data from multiple sources. Animals are sorted into groups. Animals can be sorted into two main groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that have a backbone, while invertebrates are animals that do not. Vertebrates and invertebrates can live on land, or terrestrial, or they can be aquatic, which means they live in the water. Animals can move, consume organic material or food. They can breathe, reproduce, which means have babies, and have interactions with their environments. Vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that have a backbone. Think a skeleton. Vertebrates can be broken down into these subgroups: birds, reptiles, fish, amphibians, and mammals. Vertebrates are found in many different environments. Vertebrates can be endothermic, which means warm-blooded, so they regulate their own heat and body temperature, or ectothermic, which means cold-blooded, meaning that their temperature depends on their environment. Vertebrates can be as small as a frog or as big as a blue whale, and they live in most of the different environments on Earth. Birds. Birds are warm-blooded vertebrates. Birds are known for having feathers, beaks, laying eggs, and having a strong, light skeleton. Many species of bird, but not all, can fly. Some birds are extremely intelligent. Birds can be predators, like a bald eagle, or they can be prey, like a hummingbird. Birds can vary in size from a bee hummingbird, which is 2 inches long, to an ostrich, which is 9 feet tall. Birds can be carnivores, meaning they eat only meat, omnivores, meaning they eat plants, berries, and meat, or herbivores, which means they eat only plants and berries. Birds can live in many different environments, from the Arctic, think penguins, or the desert, think vultures. Reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded vertebrates. Reptiles include turtles, crocodilians, which means crocodiles and alligators, snakes, and lizards. Most reptiles lay eggs. Reptiles can range in size from a gecko, which is not even an inch long, to a saltwater crocodile, which can be over 20 feet long. Most reptiles are carnivores, meaning they eat meat. Most of the dinosaurs were reptiles. Most reptiles are found in warm, on-land environments because they rely on their surroundings to keep them warm. Have you ever seen a reptile basking in the sun? Fish. Fish are aquatic vertebrates, which means they live in water, and they can be found in nearly all water environments. Fish lack limbs with digits, meaning their limbs don't have fingers or toes. Most fish are cold-blooded or ectothermic. The group known as fish have more diversity, meaning more types, than any kind of vertebrates. Almost all fish are carnivores. Like most animals, fish need oxygen. Instead of using their lungs to breathe oxygen like humans, they have gills, which they use to take oxygen out of the water. Amphibians. Amphibians are ectothermic vertebrates, meaning they are cold-blooded. Frogs, toads, salamanders, and newts are examples of amphibians. Most amphibians need fresh water to reproduce and thus live near water. Most amphibians are predators that can eat anything that moves and that they can swallow. Amphibians use their wet skin as another way to breathe. Amphibians have an aquatic larval stage. This means that at an early stage of their development, they are spending it in the water. Think of tadpoles. And they then transform into an air-breathing adult. An example of this is a tadpole turning into a frog. Mammals. Mammals are characterized by having mammary glands, which means that they give milk to their babies. They also have hair and fur. Mammals can live in the water, like dolphins, or on land, like tigers. Mammals can be carnivores, meaning they eat only meat, omnivores, meaning they eat both meat and plants, or herbivores, meaning they just eat plants. Humans, like you and I, are an example of mammals. Most mammals have 4 extremities. Think of a human, which has 2 arms and 2 legs, or a dog, which has 4 legs. Mammals can be as small as a shrew, which is 1 inch, or as big as a blue whale, which can be over 100 feet long. Almost all mammals give birth to live young, meaning their babies are not in eggs. They are given birth alive. Most mammals are extremely intelligent and have a part of their brain known as a neocortex, which helps develop higher, smarter thinking. Invertebrates. Invertebrates are animals that do not have a backbone. Most of the animals in the world are invertebrates. Invertebrates, like vertebrates, can be divided into smaller groups. These groups are known as arthropods, mollusks, annelids, and cnidarians. Arthropods. Examples of arthropods include insects, so butterflies, grasshoppers, things like that, arachnids, which are spiders, crustaceans, an example would be crabs and lobsters, and myriapods, centipedes or millipedes. Instead of having a skeleton on the inside, like humans or other vertebrates, they have a skeleton on the outside called an exoskeleton, which they can usually shed when they get too big for it. Arthropods are also known for having a segmented body, which simply means that their body is divided up into different parts. They also have paired appendages, kind of like humans. For example, a spider has 8 legs, which means that there are 4 pairs of legs. Mollusks. Mollusks include squid, octopus, snails, oysters, clams, and scallops. 80% of all mollusks are snails and slugs. There are very many different kinds of mollusks. Mollusks can live on land, like slugs, or they can live in the water, like squid. Annelids. Annelids can be earthworms or leeches. They can live in the water or on land. They are also known for having segmented bodies, which means they're divided up into parts. Their bodies are soft and they usually have one hole to breathe and eat and other things out of. Cnidarians. Cnidarians can be coral, jellyfish, and sea anemones. Most cnidarians live in the water. There are over 11,000 species of cnidarians. They have a single hole that is used for digestion and respiration, which means breathing. The end.